Do you want to know how to talk about pornography without shaming your child? It is possible. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about parenting, good communication, child development, all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about talking to our children about pornography. Pornography is a real concern in our society, and so I know why you might be looking at this video, because it's a conversation that every parent needs to have at one time or another. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to approach the topic of pornography, and we'll probably touch on some what not to do's too. I don't know if this is something that I should admit or not, but I've actually been exposed to quite a bit of pornography over the years, and that's because I worked with children who were troubled children who would come to my home, and sometimes they had a problem with pornography, so sometimes it came right into my house. When I was a young child, I remember we found some pornography in a field by our house. I remember there was a neighbor who had pornography books that sometimes got loose into the neighborhood. That was back before it was online. I have been online, and I have had pornography flash up in front of me and like, where did that come from? You know, I've had to install all kinds of different, filters and devices and things on phones and computers and stuff for children. And when I have found out people have been observing pornography, then I've had to go and see what it was and get rid of it so that it wasn't stored on a computer. Also, I have worked diligently to help protect children in schools and libraries. I've looked through databases and books and things and been able to see the amount of sexual exploitation pointed at the children. Graphic sexual content that can be described in no other way except for just pornography. That's what it is, and some of it's even very violent pornography. In order to keep other people safe, I've had to see a lot of things. A lot of things that I wish I never saw or never knew existed. Now, I know all of us, me included, never want our children to have a pornography addiction or to be in a position where they are viewing pornography on a regular basis and feeling like they are being controlled by that desire for pornography. Many parents are very concerned about this, and they take a lot of effort, go through a lot of measures to try to make sure they keep their children safe. And believe me, I get it. I've seen what happens when the children are not kept safe, and it is very sad to see. That said, the sad truth is that almost every child will see something during their adolescent years, and probably during their adult years, they'll end up seeing something else, or more than one something. Sadly, that's the world that we live in. So it would be the wrong approach to present pornography in a way that instills shame in a child if they ever happen to see it. Then that means every child will feel ashamed and won't want to talk about it. I actually do not like the practice in schools where they have children sign a thing that says, I won't look at pornography on the school website, and if I do, this bad thing will happen. That's a bad practice. You know why? Because now if the child happens to see something on there, they're not going to tell any adult. They signed a thing that said that they wouldn't see it, and somehow it popped out of nowhere, and I don't want to get in trouble. It would be much better for them to say, this is what pornography is. Not show it to them, but explain. Pornography is this. If you see anything that you think might be pornography, you need to come and tell us about it. Come show us. We hope it's not in the computers or on the thing, but it could be. And if it is, you need to tell someone about it. You need to tell your parents about it. That's going to always be the better way, because the chances of them finding it, even at school, are just so real. So have those kinds of conversations with your children. Now, if you're subscribed to this channel, you know that I am all about proactively talking with the children. That's always better than reactive behaviors from parents that could lead to distance in the relationship or even power struggles. So let's talk about how we should discuss pornography with our children in a way that won't shame them. Because parents have so much fear about pornography, it is very common for them to miss the mark when they are talking about pornography. They focus on a lot of negative, scary things when they are talking to their children. It is probably a better idea for us to take a developmental approach as we are discussing pornography with children. In our minds, we need to remember something. There comes a point in every person's life where they have hormonal development that happens, or maybe even natural curiosity that can occur. Now, because we recognize that that is a normal, natural, even healthy part of development, then we need to make sure that we recognize that if a child happens to view pornography, whether it was accidental or whether it is on purpose, that it could be in response to that normal, hormonal, body craving, changing, wondering part of development. This does not mean that I am a fan of allowing children to see pornography. Absolutely not. Pornography is a blatant attempt to exploit another person based upon that normal, natural, healthy part of human development, that sexual development. Children are sexually exploited all of the time just because they have to grow and change during development. What you do is you keep in mind that it's normal and natural, and then you explain to your children, you know what, wondering about sexual things, about body parts, about how babies are made and all that kind of stuff, that's so normal. You can talk to me about any of that. I promise you that the last thing you want to do is have that normal desire for information be exploited and made to be cheap and dirty, which is what happens with pornography. So we stay away from pornography because it puts the wrong types of ideas in our mind related to something that is normal, beautiful, and healthy. It makes it exploitive and selfish. It's a consumerism thing at that point. And what does it do to the image of women and even children? Horrible. We don't need to talk about the children with the children, and stuff, but we need to explain the why of it to them. I will say that with some of my children, I explained the why a little bit better than with others. You learn as you go. So hopefully you will be able to gain from my experience there, because I've had this conversation with a lot of people now over the years. But probably the best thing to do is just to have a little parent counseling session. So if you've been studying about the teaching self-government parenting approach, then you'll know that one of the 5 parenting teaching styles is to have what I call a parent counseling session. The parent counseling sessions are talked about extensively on the TSG parenting course, as well as the TSG support group. And there was an event in 2023 called the Fall Fresh Start, where I outlined the full 14-step process, and you can see all of those things at teachingselfgovernment.com. So in a parent counseling session, this is a time where you talk with the child about one issue. You help them have buy-in, they discuss the issue with you, you make plans for how you want to handle the issue. In this case, you might answer any questions that they have, you might ask them if they have any concerns about their safety from pornography, you might ask them how they think the best way would be to check up on them, and then you also will offer your suggestions. You're going to come up with a plan and make sure that they feel like they know exactly how the situation is going to be handled going forward. Be sure to tell your child, if you accidentally see anything, put it down and come let me know. I will get rid of it for you. You do not have to get rid of it, and I will not be mad that you accidentally saw something. Also, if you saw something on purpose, still come and talk to me. I'm not going to be mad. I'm never going to be mad. I hope that you will not go looking for those things, because those pictures stay in your head forever, and they kind of scar you, and it can make it so that you have some wrong ideas about human sexuality. But if you do, I'm still not going to get mad. I'm just going to help you make sure that you don't feel like it's normal to look at sexual exploitation. And then you just make a plan with them. So after you discuss with them that you know it could happen, you're an open door to talk to about it, you're never going to get mad, then you probably want to have regular talk times scheduled. In our family, we do mentor meetings. Mentor meetings are a time where we get together and we discuss parents and child, or one parent, one child, and we talk about things that the child might be concerned about. So sexual things, that relates to a person's personal and even sometimes moral development. So we want to talk about those things with the child. We want to make sure that we give the child the opportunity to divulge what's going on, to check up on any cravings, addictions, habits that they might be experiencing. And don't forget to talk about self-pleasuring during these meetings, because especially for boys 14 and older, you just got to talk about it. It's just, they're all going to have to face it probably. I don't know one that hasn't yet had to face it to some degree or another. Anyway, and the thing is it can be a problem for girls too. So make sure that you have that discussion and help them through it. Growing up should not feel like shame. It should feel like I'm normal. I may see something I wish I didn't see. I'm going to learn from it. My parents are going to help me navigate all this stuff. I'm not alone. That's what it should feel like. And I think that a lot of the people who are very critical of parents teaching children sexual morality have this idea that parents who teach sexual morality are actually closed-minded to having conversations about sex with their children. Don't let that be the case for your family. It certainly wasn't for mine, and I'm so glad that my children knew always that there was nothing that they couldn't discuss with their mother. Now, if this has been interesting for you, I'm pretty sure that you will like my full-length class all about self-government and the skills and principles of self-government. It's called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. So click on the link to that video now so that you can learn more skills to teach your children to keep them safe.